Hey Jacob, Professor Ball here. How's it going? During the course of the semester, I am going to be giving you feedback on your essays, either in this format where I'm leaving you video comments, or I will be inserting comments into your essay. And actually, for this paper, I'm doing both. And you'll see that there's already comments here because I just spent the last 15 minutes commenting and reading your work. And then when I looked at my recording screen, after the first minute mark, it had said my microphone stopped working. So that really sucks. And I'm going to do it again. But that means you'll get a better response from me. So the first thing that I look at when I open up your essay, or anybody's essay, is MLA format. And yours looks fine. And what I mean by that is you have your last name here and the page number. You have all the information you need at the top. You have a title. You don't need a colon because that colon would represent something else that's going to come after that. And we'll get to that again in a minute. I had a couple ideas for a more creative title, which you'll hear as we go on with your paper. Okay, so with today's technological advances, it is really easy to put a message out to the public via social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. What better way for Kevin Hart, who is one of the funniest actor comedians around today, to effectively use rhetorical devices and reach his fans and the world alike. His use of rhetorical effectiveness is easily seen by looking at his social media platform, Facebook. The comedian Kevin Hart, we know it's him, so just say the comedian, or the Philadelphia native, or the father of three, or the movie star, posts regularly to his account and talks about his family, career, motivation, and fitness. He has over 24 million fans subscribed to his Facebook page, with which he can easily engage with fans using 4 rhetorical devices, which are ethos, pathos, logos, and kairos. And that's great. I had made a comment here. Typically, smaller numbers are spelled out, like the number 4. That's kind of small, so you'd spell that out. Numbers that are large, you'd use the numerals. The other thing that I pointed out, and a couple of these are kind of nitpicky because you respond well to the prompt. Like punctuation right here, like what better way for Kevin Hart, and being really nitpicky, websites, apps, social media pages would be in italics. So Twitter would be italicized. Instagram would be italicized. Okay, his effective use of ethos can be seen on a captioned picture he posted to his page on February 4th where he writes, and what I said here is when you have a quotation and the word before the quotation is a verb, he writes, he says, he argues, I'm my own competition. You should never worry about what the next man or woman is doing because their path has nothing to do with yours. Compete against yourself. Become the best version of yourself. You are the only one that can hold you back. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about the word you and why you should avoid it. But if you're quoting somebody, it's fine. This establishes his credibility as a hardworking individual who is always looking to better himself, but also uses this platform to motivate others to do the same and hold themselves to a higher standard. This is important because there are people who look to their celebrities for inspiration, motivation, and influence, and with that post, he delivers that to his fans who need it. So talking about titles, one way to get a title is to finish your paper and then look and see if anything stands out to you. And one thing I was thinking about is you could do Kevin Hart, I'm my own competition. Or Kevin Hart, competing against yourself. Kevin Hart, become the best version of yourself. See where I'm going with that? Okay. He demonstrates youth at pathos regularly on his page, but more so in a video he posted on February 5th, where he introduces us to a newfound friend of a young girl by the name of Sanaya Bell, who is stricken with a terminal illness and whose wish was to meet Kevin Hart. His example can be seen when he states, through social media, I was informed that this beautiful young girl named Sanaya Bell had a dream request of one day meeting me. I was also told that she has DIPG, which is an inoperable brain tumor with no survival rate. It's very aggressive and automatically terminal upon diagnosis. My heart stopped and I shut everything down and took my plane to Philadelphia this morning to meet her. And the comment here was, you're fine. And this is nitpicky. Punctuation almost always goes inside the quotation mark. So it goes her, period, close the quotations. And this is what I was talking about you. You can see he clearly cares for his fans to personally grant the wish of someone who is terminally ill and shows he is committed to helping her in her time of need, comma, be it financial support or emotional support, and creating an open friendship where she can call him at any time to talk and make sure each other laughs while it still counts. This is the thing with you. It's not horrible, but when you use the word you, you're being very general. And I'll give you an example. I had a student years ago in an English 114. She knew that your first sentence of an essay should capture the reader's attention. Just making sure I'm still recording here. So her first sentence was, do you remember the first time you got your period? And we were reading her paper in a small group. There was a couple guys, a couple girls in the group. And I looked to one of the guys and I said, hey, Jacob, do you remember the first time you got your period? And he looked at me like I was on crack or something. So you want to be careful of your audience because what you're saying is not going to apply to everybody. So while I like Kevin Hart, I don't follow him on social media. So when you say you, how can you be more specific? Well, fans see he cares deeply. Followers can see he cares deeply. People who read his posts can see he cares deeply. So just be a little more specific. On a Tuesday Talk video series he posts on his page, he verbally demonstrates the use of logos when he says, and again, verb, comma, quote, right here. Actually, let me get rid of that. Let me do my pointer here. Verb, comma, quote. Talent is one thing. Anyone can have talent, but if you got the work to go behind the talent, your talent becomes unstoppable. And his use of the word you is fine because it's a quotation. People, it's easy to say you can. It's easy to predict and say the things that you want out of life, but to actually go and put the work and drive behind those things is what's hard. Those that do it win. I'm a firm believer that hard work will beat out talent any day of the week. A believer of Kevin Hart, a believer of hard work. I don't know. Maybe that's not a great title. Work hard and watch your dreams come true. Kevin Hart, watching his dreams come true. This statement, so capital T, this statement is very true. To be talented at something is one thing, comma, there, but to work your butt off to be great at something is totally different. There are people in life who just take to things naturally, but without hard work to nurture, that's right, because you have nurture in the next sentence, nurture that ability, that's just proofreading, or a skill that can easily be passed up by someone who's put hours, months, years into what they do, and will definitely outshine someone with unnurtured talent, and that's one word. This is what separating the good from the greats. Ooh, that's a good title. Separating the good from the greats. I'm guessing Kevin Hart is a great. And he delivers that logical argument in his video and makes it so anyone can understand the point he's trying to get across. Good. So what you do is you do a great job of using the pie handout with the point, the illustration, the explanation. Make sure you use the word logic or logos or reasoning somewhere here to have a better connection between the beginning and the end of the paragraph. Okay, so now here's another you. If you see in the Super Bowl, comma, then you know Kevin Hart regrets his action to a certain extent. So for those that have seen the Super Bowl, then people know Kevin Hart. For people who saw the Super Bowl, they know Kevin Hart regrets his actions to a certain extent. When the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl would be capitalized, capital S, capital B, Kevin Hart tried to make his way up to the stage to celebrate with the city's teams. Oh, and I wrote here, this is minor. Apostrophe S because it's one city. When the security told me, no, I can't stop laughing. Can somebody please get me the security guard's name? I want to send him wine and a dope-ass gift basket. That's a good title, too. Wine and a dope-ass gift basket. If he had have let me up there, it would have been all bad. Thank you, man. I owe you big time. All right. Capital A, because you're starting a new sentence. Although it was a funny and embarrassing moment for the comedian, comma, it could have also been potentially unfavorable for his career had security let him on stage to make a fool out of himself or possibly get into an altercation with staff or any of the players. He was grateful to the security guard who denied him stage access as he realized, after the fact when he was sober, that he was not making good decisions because he was inebriated. He understands the impact it could have had on his life had he been allowed to go through with his drunken shenanigans. Although a memorable night for him and the rest of Philadelphia, it could have gone very badly had the guard not been doing his job and looked the other way. So this is a run-on, so take a look at this. And then you don't mention Kairos, and I'm thinking that's what you're talking about because you haven't talked about that yet. So you need to make up, in a timely manner. He tweeted about, he's glad that he was kept from going on stage. You need to mention the word Kairos. Oh, you just say, sorry, I did this again. You mentioned Kairos there. Bring it up again here at the end because that way you're making sure you make your point. You illustrate it, and then you explain it. Good. So you respond well to the prompt. You cover everything that you need to do. You work well with the quotations. So what's going to happen in the next week or two, you're going to do an assignment called an error log, which is where you go in and you fix some of the things that I'm talking about here. And use my feedback for that and also to help you with your essay. Oh, and I forgot about your works cited page. For your works cited page, it's fine. This does not need to be bold, just works cited. And then you have it here, but so your first line here, and then the rest of your sentences are indented. But it looks like you have everything else you need, so good for you. All right. So, Jacob, let me know if you have any questions, and we will talk again. Thanks.